From the first Twilight movie to the last, we witnessed the demise of both humans and vampires alike. But now that the series is long concluded, the memory of some of these characters may have started to fade. Here are the last words of every fallen character. In the first Twilight film, Waylon Forge reintroduces himself to Bella upon her return to Forks by reminding her that he used to dress up like Santa.
Waylon, she hasn't had a Christmas here since she was 4.
The next time we see him, he's at the docks on his boat, where he's confronted by the interloping vampires Victoria, James, and Laurent, who have no scruples about killing humans. However, his last words depend on which cut of the film you've seen. In the theatrical cut, Waylon's last words are, "Who are you?" In the extended cut, however, as Victoria, James, and Laurent are all moving in for the kill, Waylon's nervous laughter fails to cover the fear in his voice as he says, "Hang on now." Near the end of the first Twilight film, James lures Bella to her old ballet studio, claiming to have kidnapped her mom. In reality, it's a ploy to draw Edward to the studio to avenge Bella's kidnapping and death. After James breaks Bella's leg, Edward swoops in, kicking off a fight between the two. James is under the impression that he has the upper hand, smashing Edward's head against a mirror and telling him, "You're alone 'cause you're faster than the others, but not stronger." This cockiness is premature, as Edward reminds him, "I'm strong enough to kill you." As Bella writhes in pain on the floor, Edward corners James and begins killing him before Carlisle, Alice, Jasper, and Emmett show up to finish the job. Laurent re-emerged in New Moon, stumbling across Bella in Edward's meadow after finding the Cullens gone. Though he's meant to report back to Victoria so she can kill Bella in retribution for the Cullens killing James, Laurent tells Bella that he plans to kill her himself. Just as he's going in for the kill, a giant black wolf emerges, followed by the rest of the pack. At this point, it seems Laurent knows his time is up, as he whispers, "I don't believe it." These are the last words we ever hear from Laurent, as Jacob later reveals to Bella that they killed him. In New Moon, we see Chief of Police Charlie Swan leading a search for the wolves Bella told him she saw in the woods. One of the people helping in the search is Harry Clearwater, the tribal elder who obviously knows exactly what the wolves are and is determined to protect the secret. In their search, he spots a giant wolf track, which he covers with his boot. When Charlie asks if he's got something, he utters his last words, "Nope, nothing." Shortly thereafter, he spots Victoria sneaking up on Charlie, but before he can shoot her, she lifts him in the air, preparing to kill him. Jacob in wolf form knocks her away, but it's too late. When Charlie runs back to help Harry, he finds him collapsed from a heart attack. In Victoria's desire to kill Bella and the Cullens, she turns Riley into a vampire before creating a newborn army. To get Riley to buy into killing the Cullens, Victoria convinces him that she loves him. Edward tries to talk some sense into him, attempting to convince Riley that Victoria only loves James, whom she is avenging. For a moment, Riley seems to consider what Edward has said, but he soon turns on him and Bella.
"You're dead."
However, after being attacked by Seth Clearwater in wolf form, Riley is dragged away and can be heard shouting his final words, "Victoria, Victoria, Victoria." As Riley is pulled away to his death while screaming Victoria's name, Victoria is unmoved and ignores him to focus her sights on a bleeding Bella. Her cold-heartedness in the face of Riley's death is her own ultimate undoing. Her choice to ignore Riley and go after Bella incites Edward's rage even further. He attacks her, biting her neck and ultimately separating her head from the rest of her body. It's so quick that she doesn't even really have time to react, making this Twilight character's last words the pleading lie she told Riley moments before, trying to convince him that Edward is wrong about her feelings. "Riley, don't let him do this to us. You know I love you." Lying never pays off the way you hope. One of the members of the newborn army created by Victoria, Eclipse's Bree Tanner is able to control her thirst for Bella, a control not exhibited by the other newborns. Because of this and her willingness to surrender, Carlisle and Esme decide to let her live, resolving to take her under their wing. Just when you think Bree might live, several members of the Volturi show up, and they aren't content to let her live. After torturing her telepathically, Jane asks who created her. She responds, "I don't know, Riley wouldn't tell us. He said our thoughts weren't safe." These were her last words as Jane orders Felix to kill her, despite objections from both Carlisle and Esme. As the Cullens prepare to take on the Volturi, they seek the help of other vampires. The Japanese vampire Toshiro is among those approached by Carlisle to help support the Cullens, but they aren't the only ones looking for his support. Arrow and other members of the Volturi then track down Toshiro in London, immobilizing him with Alex's paralyzing mist to get information about what the Cullens are planning. As Arrow and the other members of the Volturi approach Toshiro, he proclaims, "I would never go against you." Of course, Arrow doesn't take him at his word, and instead reads his mind, revealing, "It seems Carlisle is still expecting you." Upon learning that Renesmee is half mortal and half vampire, Arrow goes after the Cullens, and he is not content to walk away without adding Alice to his guard. As Alice is being taken away by hooded vampires, Carlisle screams, "Let her go." He then charges at the Volturi. He takes out 2 vampires before Arrow meets him in midair. Carlisle's body falls to the snow as Arrow lands on his feet, clutching Carlisle's head in his hand. Caius then lights Carlisle's body on fire. An epic battle ensues that results in countless deaths, including Arrow's. Except not really. Carlisle doesn't really die, as we later learn that the whole battle was simply a vision that Alice showed to Arrow. But for those who were unfamiliar with the Twilight books, Carlisle's apparent death was a shocking moment indeed. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more list videos about your favorite stuff are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.